Hi everyone out there, this is Xai'nyy with another Celestial Travels vlog. You might have noticed I haven't really done a vlog in a couple of weeks. Reason for that is when Xai'nyy are not feeling authentic in the world, they tend to feel constricted and isolate themselves. So like go off, to where those spaces where they do feel authentic by themselves or maybe with close friends. And that's what I've been doing for the last couple weeks. And I've been, feeling this and kind of coming to terms with what was happening and the reason why I was feeling this lack of authenticity in my life that was, constraining me, constraining my voice. I'd mentioned to you guys that I was dating and that I was trying to introduce Podler to the person I was dating, and we were going through the process. But the truth is, that, and Xai'nyy can be very good at this, is, speaking words, articulating things, but not actually, because the words are easy for a Xai'nyy, articulation is easy, and so they can say stuff but not actually act on it, keep slipping it. As long as they're getting what they need or want, they'll keep using sophistry and driving the encounters in a certain way that it seems like they're progressing or doing stuff, but they're really not. If you look at the track record, it's a lot of dodging. So that's what was happening here, unfortunately. And I had been feeling that more and more, or seeing that more and more, and trying to be like, well, because my calling is Podler, and that's where my authentic voice comes from, and that's where I think a lot of the energy that I have to give and the beauty that I have to give comes from Podler. So if you're not, learning that part of me, you're not really with me. You're maybe with some sort of idealized version of your other, like you've thought, oh, okay, I want a pretty face to go with me to events so I look impressive or something, like that. But you're not actually with the person for what they stand for, what they represent, what they're about, what powers them, what drives them. And you don't, so I had been feeling not only the dodging and not actually acting on what the supposed commitments had been for Flags Forward and Progress. But then there's also, and Xai'nyy will do this with their Xi, can be quite manipulative and in an insidious way of like, and Xai'nyy can do this too, Xai can do this too, but it'll be different, is about whining, like to set the tone of, like why I'm not performing. So saying, I'm so busy, I'm busy with work, I work all the time, I get so tired, I'm so busy with, family, I'm so busy with this, I have so many pressures. But then you see, like there's so there can be this setting up of things like, I don't have time for this, I don't have energy for this, but then and Xai'nyy, it's not hard to spot, and Xai'nyy and Xai, like the incongruities in the patterns. Okay, you say, you're busy, you know, you say you have lack of energy. Well, when these certain things come up, you seem to have, you know, a boundless amount of energy all of a sudden. You know, I can tell you have reserves. I can tell you have a lot of will and drive and energy during these certain times and certain things. You're just not choosing to put it into the things that we had agreed to. And then that becomes a different question. And it's like, well, I see what's happening here. So if you're not going to put that energy that you have into the things that we've discussed, then why are we, you know, why are we together? What is it about this? What do you want out of this relationship? And unfortunately, in my case, the person I was dating, they, you know, I would bring this up and I would bring it in patterns and try to bring in Zez, and but he would keep bringing it back to the Zez channel, and it's like, aren't you loyal to me? You know, or, you know, bringing in these emotive tones of like, but you haven't earned that loyalty. You haven't earned me, you know, being committed to this relationship, because you're not fulfilling your part of what we had agreed this relationship was going to be about in the first place. So after, you know, patterns like this pattern kept repeating itself, and, you know, I'd bring it up, and it comes this, you know, emotive you know, drama to try to obfuscate the issues. You know, you finally have to put your foot down. As a, you know, as a Xai'nyy, as a tower, there can also be an issue, because the Xai'nyy usually is the driver, the pilot. They're natural in that role, and the Xai'nyy can try to go along with that, to not rock the boat, to not to let them take the lead or something. But that's a mistake when, you know, regardless of the mojo, you have to come from your own position of strength and what you're about, and let that blossom and grow, and be open and authentic, and live that life. And then whatever's gravitates towards you, they have, you know, they have, you know, and if it can become you know, a lover out of that attraction or of people, but it has to be of you as the authentic being, and that's what they want to be with. You know, I'm going through a stage now where it's a transition into you know, being open and public with Podler, and so the person knew that, you know, and it was disclosed throughout you know, our relationship, where this was going, where the journey was going, and the fact that, you know, I was being more going to have the book coming out, that I was going to begin voicing, that the goal was to spread the word to anyone, anywhere, and have that take us where we, you know, wherever it goes. And at first, because again, Xai'nyy can be very like charming and convincing with their words of like, I'm there for you, I'm supporting you in this journey. But then as the time gets closer and I'm starting to voice more and I'm starting to be more authentic, then it comes in these currents of, well, you know, do we really need to talk about this? You know, like all of a sudden it's like, Podler seems a little weird, or, you know, there's these currents of like non-support anymore, and it's like as you get closer to the voicing, the support wanes, and there's more weight and drag that you feel, and that can't happen, you know, when you can't get you cannot get something big accomplished with that kind of drag on your peak pathway. It just won't work. It just won't work. You can't take flight like that. If the person that's closest to you is not on board with your chosen path, you know, and then they're just going to, whether it's in a directive way, proactive way, or whether it's an adaptive, or like maybe a more like, you know, digging their heels in the sand, and I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna move. Whatever it is, you can't have that if you're to peak properly and to do what you need to do in your life, what you feel is your calling and journey. So so these things have been happening, and you know, I had been feeling less and less authentic, more and more constricted, and you know, my spirits had been talking to me more and more in you know, very vivid dreams, and but you know, and I have to admit this, you know, I'll come clean, you know, I get lonely. I think a lot of people do, you know, the energy that your other gives you, whether it's in your own head, but like when it, you know, is projected onto a person, you can have very intense highs from being around your other in physical form, and that can fill that void of, you know, that completion of your cycle in a physical form, and kind of fill that loneliness that you can feel not having an other around you, you know, on a you know, on a consistent basis. But the problem is that when the other is not doing the dance correctly with you, then what you're experiencing is not a true completion cycle, and so you'll actually feel more lonely and empty than ever, you know, because it's like, I'm here, I'm with an other, we're together, but I'm feeling further and further from my peak pathway and less complete, and now, you know, I'm attached to this other that's where the dance is, you feel, you know, there's this push and pull, you know, because also because it's Xai'nyy, there's this, it's big on the push and pull first, and you feel that it's getting more and more distorted because neither of the parties is getting what they want out of it. The problem is, you know, in this case, he wasn't authentic about his intentions, and continually and consistently, you know, smooth or charmed, obfuscated his what he was going for, what his intentions were, to, you know, so we want something else, you want me to be someone else, but you're not going to come out and say it because you're just going to take what you're going to take what you want out of it, while you know, in trying to more progressively invalidate more of those things that you don't like, in the hopes that those other things are going to go away, and you're going to, you know, and what you want is going to be the only thing that's left. Problem is, when you do that, you're going to take the shine away. What made the person shiny in the first place was that exactly what you're trying to, you know, kind of strangle out of them, you know? So, and then it gets into this weird dance of like inauthenticity, and then, you know, like, because that Xai'nyy was trying to get certain things out of this, and now they start partitioning, compartmentalizing things more and more, and it becomes more of this, like, surface of a relationship where things are more fragmented and there's less transparency on the relationship, and then trustworthiness erodes, and then over time you see this like played out in your mind, and a relationship like that would just be a miserable proposition. And why would anyone want that? But it does seem like a lot of people in mimetic type of relationships do end up in those kinds of situations. Because people don't come to terms and are not authentic with who they are and what they want in another person. And so things get really distorted. So yeah, so that's what went on, and so that relationship has ended, and you know, for any Xai'nyy out there, is, you know, I would say, like, trust yourself, always be authentic, trust in your journey, go out there, you know, voice, seek those people who are supportive of you, just without any promise of you being in a relationship, romantic, giving something that you're not comfortable with, but people who are just supportive of you being you, and you peaking, and you're you voicing, and you getting stronger, and getting shinier and shinier, and really, you know, nurture those people, because it's a very, you know, very special and precious thing, and just go out there and be fearless and voice, and from that authentic voice, that's where your reality will come from. The reality that you want will come from. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Hope all is well, and talk to you next time.